Hey, everybody. Today is the first Sunday of Advent. Kath, we have somebody waiting at the door. Will you let them in? Thank you. It's the first Sunday of Advent, hope and faith. Thank you so much, Lissa, for reading our daily word for us today. Hope and faith. I have faith that this technology is going to work for the rest of the day. So I'm about to get on a roll. Lissa read for us this morning that I know and feel in the depths of my soul that the good I desire is already mine. With unwavering faith and deep gratitude, I claim it now. Right? Do we believe that all the good that we desire is already ours? That's okay. Oh. Okay. Just a little bit of a delay there. Peggy was trying to post this onto Facebook. If you're watching on Zoom, you can go onto Facebook and share this with your page. That would be great. Peggy does that every week, and I'm grateful that you do that. Do we know that all the good that we desire is already ours? Do we have faith in that? Because that's the truth. That's the truth of who we are. You are the child of the most almighty, high, good God love that exists in this universe. And we are called forth to stand in this truth with unwavering faith and deep gratitude. Now, here's the thing. Unwavering faith and deep gratitude are learned skills. And no matter how good you are at it right now, you can get better at it, right? Because we either have faith in abundance or we have faith in scarcity. We have faith in lack. So we have to choose, where is our faith going to be? And we get to direct our attention. We get to direct our attention to what is it we truly believe, right? Edwene Gaines, a number of us are studying her book right now, the four spiritual laws of prosperity, and she directs us to learn to have faith in an abundant universe with some specific practices. One of them is tithing, right? It's an uncomfortable one for a lot of us, right? You know, we're 10% of all the financial rewards that we receive in this world, that we give those to the person, place, or institution where we are spiritually fed. It doesn't mean it all goes to your church, but wherever you're spiritually fed, if you're not tithing, then you're not leaning into this practice, 10%, to know that your abundance is. And if you're going, well, I don't have enough to tithe, then you have faith in lack. You have faith in limitation. Okay. She also tells us that we get to practice this skill with goal setting, deciding what it is. How do we know that we have an abundant universe if we don't decide what that's going to look like, how that's going to outpicture for us, right? We get to use our faculty of imagination. Remember that one? So see, we get to build these skills by working with these 12 powers, and we develop this unwavering faith with spiritual practice, right? Everything's a practice. We get to learn and uncover and become stronger with this. And Edwene is really clear in her instructions on goal setting. She tells us in her book to keep our goals secret. Those of you in that class will remember that. We keep our goals secret. And, you know, and this prompted a great conversation in both classes that are looking at this text. We keep our goals secret because not everyone in our lives is going to want for us what we want for ourselves, right? Some people aren't going to believe in your prosperity. because they don't believe in their own. All right, so we keep things quiet. We keep our goals in secret, knowing, right? This place where faith becomes conviction that this will come to pass, right? And then it's clear that, when it doesn't come to pass the way you think it should come to pass and when you think it should come to pass, that's when we do, a spiritual practice, meditation, right? We get clear and we ask from that stillness within ourselves, we ask, what do I need to change to experience this, right? Because you can manifest anything in this physical world that you want to manifest. But in order to keep it, you have to be the kind of person that has it, right? You've heard that before. So we have to do the practice and be willing to change. And so often when we decide that things need to change, what do we decide? Right? Oh, there it did it again. When we decide that it needs to change, I don't know if they're hearing me online. Let me see. Are y'all hearing me online, Brian? Okay, they're hearing me. Okay. So that's going to be irritating. Can you put a slide up on the screen out here, Brian? Maybe? So, perfectly hearing me. Okay. Lost my train of thought. Where was I? Thank you, Amy. Okay, so when we aren't seeing it the way we want to see it, right? When we aren't seeing it the way we want to see it, when we're not, I just turned the TV off. If you're online, I just had to turn the TV off. When we're not seeing it the way we want to experience it, we have to change inside. And and oftentimes when we decide things need to change, right? We decide that things out here need to change. Right? There's a lot out here in the world that we can't change. What we can always change is within us. Right? So we keep things private because we don't need to entertain the naysayers. Right? Now, I believe this thing of secrecy is also true about tithing, right? Because you don't need to tell people that you're tithing. But I'll tell you what, the people that tithe are going to know that you tithe because they're going to see you in abundance. And they're going to be able to tell that you are a channel for that which feeds you spiritually. Right? They're going to know. You don't have to tell them. But we keep things secret. There are things that we keep secret to ourselves. The secrets don't really exist because there's only one, there's only divine mind. And so we can always find everything out, right? But we move forward in this secrecy of not telling all that because we don't want the naysayers. We don't, because people are going to tell you don't need to tithe. They're going to tell you don't need to set that goal, right? But they also will say, well, why are you grateful for that? Have you ever had anybody wonder why you were grateful for something in your life? Because gratitude is like tithing, gratitude is a devotional practice. Those that were here with us on Wednesday night for our soup supper, we talked about gratitude as a devotional practice because we get to sit in gratitude because we understand that we are the worldly presence of being in the flow. Right? When we maintain this devotional practice of gratitude, we see that things are always showing up. And with the divinity, this spark of divinity that lives within us, that things get divinely ordered for good in our lives. So we're developing our skills at holding unwavering faith and holding deep gratitude. And we're following this Advent progression, right? We lit this candle this morning for hope and faith, a candle because Advent is this coming out of the darkness, right? We are moving into this time where we celebrate the coming forth of the Christ light within each one of us. So we're progressing towards light, towards life, and an experience of peace, love, and joy. Now, something in our consciousness can always keep us from the full experience of an unwavering faith and a deep gratitude. Right? There is always something that can pull us away from that experience. And it's something that prosperity author Catherine Ponder says is stronger than steel. Stronger than steel. This is what Catherine Ponder wrote. When you hold resentment toward another, you are bound to that person or condition by an emotional link that is stronger than steel. Forgiveness is the only way to dissolve that link and get free. I'm going to read that again for you. When you hold resentment toward another, you are bound to that person or that condition by an emotional link that is stronger than steel. Forgiveness is the only way to dissolve that link and get free. Do you want to be free? We want to be free. And so I'm wondering, everybody's nodding their head or yelling yes, that they want to be free. How many of us hold resentment? Anybody? It's a daily practice. See, forgiveness is a discipline. Forgiveness allows us to feel worthy enough to live prosperously. Can you get that? That forgiveness allows us to feel worthy enough to live prosperously, because we get a lot of messages in our society that being prosperous is not spiritual. Anybody ever experienced that in your life? Prosperity is spiritual. Right? And forgiveness cleanses our emotional nature of bitterness, irritation, blame, and guilt. Right? That's what forgiveness does. It cleanses our emotional nature. And we get into this idea, we've been enculturated to believe that forgiveness is something that it's not. Right? Forgiveness is not forgetting. You heard that, forgive and forget. Well, if there's only one power and one presence, and that presence is the omniscience and the omnipotence of creation, then all things exist in divine mind, and there is no forgetting. And to say you're going to forget about something, say that. I want you to think about something right now and say, I'm going to forget about this. And see how long that stays in the front of your mind, right? Forgetting is not it. And so forgiveness is not forgetting, right? Forgiveness does not mean that we no longer feel the pain of an offense. Right? That thing really happened and it really did hurt. Forgiveness doesn't take away that pain. But sometimes we're told when we forgive, we're supposed to, you don't feel pain. You shouldn't feel that anymore. You shouldn't feel that way anymore because you forgave them. Right? Forgiveness does not mean that we give up a longing for justice. Right? We do a lot of performative forgiving. We have forgiven these people so they don't need to be punished. No. See, it also doesn't mean that, when we forgive a person or an event that has happened, it does not mean that we go back and we make it easy for us to get hurt or offended again, right? Have you ever been in that relationship where someone goes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, and they do the same thing or maybe something worse the following day, the following week, maybe even in the next hour? Right, so forgiveness doesn't mean that we necessarily have to stay there, right? Our way shower At the moment of his death, he said, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. And then when he resurrected, he did not go back and hang out with the people that crucified him, right? But he forgave them. And we also have this idea that when we forgive, it's one and done, right? I have forgiven them, right? Ooh, it's a climactic event. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is a practice. As we expand in consciousness, we get to learn how we can forgive even more deeply, more completely. That's why as we expand in consciousness and we run up against these things that we think we've already forgiven and they show back up and and it's an ugly beast, that we then have to forgive again, right? I got to talk with another minister that I know last week who was experiencing some challenges in ministry. I know y'all don't believe that challenges in ministry happen. And she told me, she said, I there's forgiveness work that needs to happen. And I don't understand, we've done a number of forgiveness events. We've had forgiveness rituals. If we don't do our daily work, it keeps showing up, right? It's not a one and done. We don't get to have a ceremony and light something on fire and then just say it is done, right? We keep doing the work. It is a practice. So that's forgiveness is not these things, and we also don't want to forgive. We don't want to confuse forgiveness with absolution, right? We get this from our early Christian heritage, right? Because we had to confess our sins. Anybody remember that? Right? And we would get absolution, right? Absolution is the formal release from guilt, obligation, or punishment, right? We're not here to absolve. See, forgiveness is the work of turning our attention away from error thinking and beholding everything in truth. See, we have to shift our attention away from the error thought and see the truth of it. And that takes emotional housekeeping, right? Forgiveness this is one of my favorite quotes. Forgiveness is giving up hope for a better past. It's where we give up hope for a better past. And we get to vision knowing that this is where I begin, and I know that there is an unlimited wellspring available to me in all that I desire. But sometimes we hold on to resentments, right? I have mine, right? I'm a little resentful today of this technology not working the way I want to, right? I am bound up to the people and the conditions right now that are keeping me in a constricted consciousness. Part of me feels like a victim right now that this has happened. Maybe you feel the same way about something in your life. Maybe something has happened and you have created a bond. You have bound yourself up in emotional chains that are stronger than steel. Steel is an interesting substance. Basically, if you don't know this is your very simple science lesson for the week. Steel is made from combining iron ore and carbon at a very high temperature. And when we think about steel, we in modern day we think of steel, we think of like building construction, high-rise buildings. You may even think of the radials on your car tires, right? Steel is chains. Steel is also weapons. The earliest uses of steel were in creating weapons. In the Norse Iron Age, which incidentally, the time period of the Norse Iron Age is around much of the Hebrew scriptures that we read about when we look at our scriptures. And so in the Norse Iron Age, weapons were made from iron ore that came out of the bogs, right? They would get the bogs out of it, and they'd take it to a metalsmith, and they would heat it up, and they would make weapons. And then they had a ritual magic in their Norse tradition. And they would go and they would dig up the bones of their ancestors, or they would dig up the bones of fierce animals, and they would mix that in with the iron, believing that, okay, we are now imbuing our weapons with the spirit of our fierce warriors that were our ancestors. We are imbuing our weapons with the fierceness of these animals. Scientifically, they were making a very rudimentary kind of steel because the bones contain carbon. Right? So carbon mixed with iron becomes steel. And so this weapon now, in some magical way, is stronger. Right? Have any of you ever dug up old memories and used them as a weapon? I have. I might even do it tomorrow. When we look at the spiritual meaning of iron stands for human strength and for honor and for courage and for confidence. Carbon is the element that shows up in all life forms, right? Iron is not a native element to the earth. Iron shows up because a star exploded. It is stardust, and you have iron pulsing through your body, right? And so you actually are the living, breathing element of stardust. So do you want to be free? Because we can dig up our past and use it as a weapon, or we can step into this spiritual practice. We can forgive every time we place someone outside of our heart. See, it is only from living from the truth that all people have at their core this divine spark, that they are stardust, that they are the Christ. They are an individualized, eternal expression of the most divine here, right now. Right? Now, do they necessarily live all the time from that divine spark? No, they don't. And you know how I can so easily see that? Because I'm still learning how to do it myself. And so by forgiving them, I'm forgiving myself, right? Because I have to see that they are worthy of love. Because if I can't see that everyone out there is worthy of love, then I don't get to see myself as worthy of love. Because when we break free of these chains, when we eliminate this stronger than steel contraption that locks us into victimhood, when we expand and we get to this expansion of consciousness and know that God, good love is all there is, that's when we really we get to throw open the windows of heaven, right? We get to know that this unlimited wellspring is showing forth because I am the beloved, blessed child of the Almighty. And so are you. See, this opulent universe is waiting for us to deliver an even greater good than we can imagine. It wants to deliver a greater good than we can imagine. So if you want to be free, I invite you to step into this idea of forgiveness. Who do you need to forgive other than yourself? What do you need to forgive? Right? And keep it secret. Right? Because if you walk up to someone and you go, I just want you to know that I forgive you, that might not go well, right? So we keep these things secrets, but we forgive over and over and over again so we can be free. And when you're doing that work, well, the rest of us will know, because we're going to see the windows of heaven fly open, and you are going to be free in ways that none of us can imagine. I love you, friends. And we forgive this technology. We're not doing what I wanted it to do today. We're going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to turn the TV back on. We're going to connect the computer, and Dedry's going to start singing to move us into a meditation. And so, let's see. Connect to line. Okay. Dedry, are you ready to sing?
I sure am, yes.
Thanks, everyone, for your patience. Take a deep breath and just center yourself. Dedry, we're ready for you.
This one, as we prepare for meditation, this one is just loosely based on the Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness called the Hoponopono method, the Hoponopono practice. Beloved one, I forgive you. I forgive you and I love you. Beloved one, I forgive you and I release you to your highest good. Beloved one, I forgive you. I forgive you. And I love you. Beloved one, I forgive you. I release you to your highest good. And now turning that inwardly, beloved one, I forgive you. I forgive you. And I love you, beloved one. I forgive you. I release you to your highest good.
So with a deep breath, simply bring your awareness to your heart center. Bring your awareness to this soft, pulsing pink light. Notice who perhaps you are withholding your love from. Who have you placed outside of your heart today? And with a soft, voice in your heart. Say, I bless you. I forgive you. I love you. Welcome home. Bring them into your heart. Empathy and understanding are keys to forgiveness. I feel more empathy for those who have hurt me when I remember the times I may have caused hurt myself, the regret I carried, and the relief I felt when I was forgiven. These memories trigger my compassion and make it easier for me to extend forgiveness now. I extend forgiveness now. I extend forgiveness now. This becomes my mantra. I extend forgiveness now. And as I extend forgiveness, I shift from error thinking and see things as they truly are. I behold the Christ. I behold the individualized, eternal, blessed expression of Christ in everyone I meet. And I forgive myself for sometimes forgetting that this too is the Christ. I extend forgiveness now. And so it is. I invite you to hold this practice of forgiveness every day, every moment that you are aware that you are placing someone outside of your heart. Welcome them home to love. Welcome them home. And so now, when you're ready, you can bring your awareness back to this time, to the space where you are, this spiritual moment where we are all together, as Dedried provides us this beautiful song.
Nothing you could ever say that could make me turn and walk away. You are safe. You are safe. There is nothing you could ever do that could turn my heart away from you. You are loved. You are so loved. Everything you've ever said or done, every time you've ever done me wrong, it's washed away, taken by the tide and shifting sand. Every time you fail to soar and you shut it all out, even though you're craving more, it's washed away. In the tears and in the prayers, washed away, washed away, washed away, washed away. There is nothing you could ever think that could push me to the edge, the brink. You are free, oh honey, you are so free. You are free. There's no darkness in this life so deep. You can never be lost from me. Oh, you are loved. You are so loved. Everything you've ever said or done, every time you've ever done me wrong, it's washed away, taken by the tide and shifting sand. Every time you fail to soar and you shut it all out, even though you're craving more, it's washed away. In the tears and in the prayers, washed away, washed away, washed away, washed away. Everything you've ever said or done, every time you've ever done me wrong, it's washed away, taken by the tide and shifting sands. Every time you fail to soar and you shut it all out, even though your heart's craving more, it's washed away. In the tears and in the prayers, washed away, 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 washed away.